पिया जी 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 जिया पिया तूने मेरा जिया ले लिया. Do you often get this?
Yes, you won't believe. Shami Kapoor, when I went to meet him, he actually started Piya to se naina, and I was just like,
Wow.
Shami Kapoor. So
Wow,
yes,
I'm so happy you had the same reaction from me.
yeah, decades ago. Of course.
JK, do you get Pia, Pia, oh Pia, Pia,
A lot.
Pia, Pia, oh Pia?
Yes.
What's the next line?
Subha sham kare.
मेरा जिया पिया जिया 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 पिया पिया oh पिया 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 oh पिया cute peasy.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Ranveer, for joining us here.
Thank you
on
for having me,
ETimes.
ma'am.
And it's such a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure
again.
meeting you after many years.
Yes, the last time we met, of course, was after Simba, just before you.
Oh, what a movie! Oh,
Gully Boy.
oh what a movie! Oh.
Yeah, and now Jayeshbhai Jordaar.
Oh, what a movie.
Suvache.
So much. Just joking, guys. Yeah,
Wow, Saras.
one has to be excited about one's own work.
Yes.
Earlier, I used to be very critical of my work. Now I'm kinder to myself, kinder to, just about everything. I think the pandemic really changed me.
Right.
And yeah, now I just feel very excited. I don't feel nervous.
Yep.
I just feel excited, because I want, now we're making it for people to entertain people, and we're like literally on the eve of release today as we speak.
Yes.
So there's just, I took a second because somebody asked me, how are you feeling? So I was like, how am I feeling? I'm just excited. I want people to see it. I want them to laugh and smile and feel the emotion, and hopefully they're watching it with somebody. So create a memory with that person that they're watching it with.
Absolutely.
Excited!
Super. So are we, by the way. But here is a man who's come up with Khilji. He's come up with Simba. He's come up with, Bajirao. You've come up with so many characters, Ram. And then a simpleton like Jayeshbhai.
Yeah.
So wonderful. And how many more rabbits and pigeons are you going to take out from your hat, you little magician?
Oh, ma'am, that's so kind of you. This has been my endeavor always, my pursuit always. I just want to be recognized as a versatile actor. If you'd ask me what kind of actor have you always aspired to be, a versatile one, I would say. These actors have fascinated me throughout my life. Daniel Day-Lewis, Christian Bale, the actors who can really transform, where you see two of their performances and you can hardly believe it's the same person. That I find that so fascinating. For me, that's acting. That's like high grade, is when you can change just about your entire being, because what is it? Ultimately, you're exploring creativity. So how far can you go to try and become somebody else? What all it is that you can offer that's different and change a whole host of things. The way you walk, the way you talk, your gait, your body language, your voice, there was this edit that one of my fans sent me on social media, and they had lined up all of my characters' eyes, shots of my characters' eyes, and they were like, how do you do it? How are even the eyes different? So it has been my ambition, desire, endeavor, pursuit to be recognized as a versatile actor. I must admit that it did start some time ago, but that discourse about versatility, especially after 83, has been very pronounced.
Right.
And I'm finally in that place where I was hoping to be, where I get recognition for being a versatile performer. कि यार ये कुछ भी कर सकता है और नया अलग क्या करेगा देखने लायक होगा. I feel so fulfilled because I've been trying it for the past 10 years.
Absolutely. In fact, I beg to differ because I remember seeing Lutera in 2013 and I was completely blown away.
You were an early convert.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got accolades for that. You got critical acclaim, you got audience love, but it didn't translate into the numbers according to the trade. And the same thing happened with 83. So how do you handle films like that which are so good and people revisit it on OTT versus when it actually released?
I just think 83 was kind of an anomaly. that kind of love for any film to receive is unprecedented. It is colossal. The amount of love that that film has, it's unanimously loved and appreciated and praised. I think the theatrical has a couple of aspects to it. Of course, there was Omicron. 48 hours before our release day, we have key markets shutting down. There's very little we could do. In fact, the film that was going to release the week after just decided not to come at all. It was such a bad time, but we were stuck. Commitments had been made. So we went on with the show, went on, and uh, I think the reason we heard criticism from our friends in the trade was because they concern themselves with that aspect, the
Right.
business of films. Now, when it comes to the business of that film, I think it was more a failure of budgeting than, really, if it was such an expensive film to make,
Right.
that the math, when you really break it down, it didn't make profits in at the level that it was projected to. So it didn't make the kind of money that it was projected
Right.
to make, only because the budget was so high. But it's still, in the thick of Omicron, made 200 crores at the
Exactly.
global box office, which is no mean feat. That means 200 crores worth of an audience actually went to the theater in spite of Omicron to see it. And let me tell you, we were very proud of the product that we created, right? So 1 week before release,
Right.
which is a unique case in my case, 1 week before release, Monday onwards, we started showing the film to people, and that's where it started. I can't tell you, that week, 10 days, I have never, and it was, I remember, a few films, I don't want to specify, because मेरी फिल्म, मेरे कैरेक्टर्स मेरे बच्चों की तरह है, भेदभाव नहीं करना चाहिए. But yes, there have been instances where the messages, the response, the feedback has been so glowing, so emphatic. It's almost overwhelming in terms of its volume, in terms of what people are saying. But this rendition, Kapil Dev, it was unprecedented.
Right.
The kind of messages I was getting, the kind of reactions I was getting, the things people were saying, the emotion that they felt for this film and for this performance, I could not have asked for more. It was nothing short of an avalanche of love and praise. I was submerged in it. So I can only be grateful. I know that the film is loved. I know that the performance is loved. And I know that this is a film that
Right.
will live forever. Even Band Baja Barat, why Lutera for that matter, वो 22 करोड़ की फिल्म है, 22 करोड़ कमाया, but it's 500 crores worth of love.
Yes.
I feel the same about 83. Came at a bad time, made it a high budget, sure, but what matters at the end of the day is the love that the film gets. Is it going to live forever? I think so. From what I can see and have experienced with 83, the second wave of that came when it released on OTT.
OTT.
And I had a feeling that that would happen, because throughout that process, December to whenever it released on OTT, people were like, hey, we're really scared. And I read everything on social media, right? People were like, listen, we were really scared to go to the theaters. We have parents living at home. We have such and such restrictions. So we couldn't take the risk, dying to see the movie. When is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming on OTT? And I knew that the anticipation of it coming on OTT was so high. Then when it came, the amount of messages were even more than the theatrical release. And there's a big difference when people praise your performance. Where I could see in the words and the emotions and the manner of writing how emphatic it was. I could see that. So I know all too well that sometimes I say this performance is a gem in my filmography. It would not be a stretch to say that Kapil Dev 83 is like the crowning jewel in my filmography till date.
Absolutely.
And yeah, what more can I ask for? I mean, I could open my phone right now. I have not deleted those messages because they're just too special. And amongst the sea of it that came, the most special ones were the ones from people who took their parents to see it, who watched with their parents,
Right.
because they've lived that time. They have that nostalgia value attached. And I'll never forget this one video of a very, very old, frail gentleman. Uh, he was at home, very humble, very modest setting, and he was sitting like this at the edge of his seat and watching like this, and he was clapping and crying. And his daughter, he didn't know he was being filmed, and his daughter was filming him.
Wonderful.
And what she wrote and sent me, she was like, "Thank you for this. This is the most animated."
Yeah, but yes. It's so wonderful. But Ravi, tell me, when you play characters like Kapil, Murad, Ram, and so many others, Bittu, they say actors are very selfish. But is it possible for you to rise above your character and look at the film as a whole?
I do that now. Earlier, I wasn't able to. My journey in this craft of acting has also been a one of constant learning, and I continue to learn. But my process of learning has been a difficult one. Um, I have made several mistakes. I have changed my approach, overhauled my approach on multiple occasions. Certain experiences have spiked my growth. Basically, this craft of acting and this experience of being a public figure, all of it I've had to learn on the job.
Right.
Because when I faced the camera in Band Baja Bharat, it was literally the first time I was ever facing a film camera. So everything I've learned as I go. I have had to hit the ground running and make mistakes, learn from them. So it's been a process of learning. Today I can say that I am in a position where I have matured as a performer such that I always view, I'll always put the film first.
Right.
In any context, whether it is receiving a narration from a film, viewing the film once it's complete. Oftentimes filmmakers improvise beats of the film and we kind of change stuff along as we go. I'm never thinking from my point of view, what's better for the film? तू ये line बोल ले और effective रहेगा. And I've learned from my seniors as well how to be secure and how to be cool in that way. And I've learned from some of my seniors what not to do as well. I've had both experience. So it's really coming from experience.
Yes.
Though it's only been 10 years. I have also seen what not to do and how not to be, and what is a great way of being. It is all a collaboration. Ultimately, of course, people will specifically look at you, but secondarily, primarily, it's what film you're putting out. So you always you gotta have your priorities right as a performer. Only then will you be a true collaborator.
Right, absolutely. But you just said that, you look at social media a lot. While you get a lot of love for the audiences, there's also a lot of trolling, brickbats, and all of that. Of course, when people talk about work, fashion, all of that, you recently said in an interview you've become very cold-hearted. But how do you react when people get personal about your family, your wife especially, and they write, things which are very untowards, or so-called problems, or all of that? How do you handle that?
Ma'am, anything I say, it'll be like I'll sound like a philosopher or something, but I have become that. I can't help it. I've become very. I've had a spiritual growth. I've become very philosophical about things. It all happened in the pandemic. Actually, it was a time where, personally, I witnessed possibly one of the worst times that I've ever seen. When I was sitting at home and you'd put the news on or you'd open your phone and you'd see the sheer carnage. If you are generally an empathetic person,
Right.
then it'll really affect you, and it did. So now when people throw shade or drop hate, I understand and I sympathize with them, because that is coming from a lack
Right.
of something in their life, such that they find the need to, how they say, when you point out something negative about a person, it's really just a reflection of them. It's about them, and it's about them. It's not about me, and it's not about my wife. I know that when that criticism comes that it's as so absolutely baseless, that what is there to, I don't even subscribe to the idea that you're putting forth here, let alone be affected by it.
Yes. But do you wish to clarify sometimes?
Never.
No.
Never. What's the point?
Right.
I know the truth. I sleep at night knowing that I only operate from a genuine, honest, and good place in my heart, and that I'm a good person and I do good upon others as much as I can. And I know the same about my wife. I know the truth.
Yes.
You know.
And that's all that matters.
And the what the truth is you know, the verdict is still out on what the truth is. Some people say there's the truth, and then there are different perspectives to it. At the end of the day, I know my truth, you know. So how can I be worried at all? It's even my fingers gotten used to scrolling over the hate to find the love messages that I get.
Which is also a lot.
Like I don't need to look at it like this. I can see now. I'm proficient now. I can see it from this distance also. Oh, hate, love, some hate, love. It's because it's baseless.
Right.
I don't subscribe to it, and because I don't subscribe to it, it does absolutely nothing to me. It's like how do you say? It's like it's nothing. It means absolutely nothing. So I'm in the least bit affected by it.
Yes. Okay, I also have to ask you this.
You know, the only thing that affects me though is the sympathy I have for the person writing that.
Yeah.
I just feel like, man, like I wish good things happen to you so that you can come out of this.
Yeah.
I just wish well upon the person writing that or whatever.
You have to. It's very big of you to think like that, because not everyone does.
सोचो.
Yes.
मैच्योर हो गया आपका लड़का.
But I have to ask you this. You know, nowadays,
किसने सोचा था?
you know, nowadays, whenever you're going out on an event, or for that matter, even in interviews and all of that, all you keep doing is Jai Jhulelaal.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful to know that, you know, a Sindhi is doing that. But
Hell yeah.
where is it coming from? You know, I'm very curious. Are you planning on taking up a Sindhi character? Even your exclamations in interviews are Ayala, or, you know,
Yeah.
small things.
I guess it's coming with age. I don't know. I really don't know. I go through phases. Sometimes I say Jai Jhulelaal. I'm going through the Jai Jhulelaal phase now. Earlier it was something else. Kal ko kuch aur hoga. It's never the same thing. I don't really, you know, I'm never one character. Like I'm never one thing. I go through different phases.
Right.
So maybe you will notice the next time we meet, which I hope is sooner rather than later. Is maybe there's some other form of exclamation. I don't know why or how, but it is the case. I am saying it a lot these days, and I know that.
Ranveer, it was wonderful talking
Thank
to
you.
All the best for the film, and Jai Jhulelaal.
Jai Jhulelaal.